Doing?
Good, how are you?
Tammy and Amy, right?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm Dr. Proctor.
Nice to
You got it
Nice
right on
to
the
meet
first
you.
time.
Yeah.
Dr.
Amy Slaton's life has never been simple. For millions of viewers who first met her on 1000 Delby Sisters, she became more than just a reality TV star. She became a symbol of struggle, survival, and second chances. But behind the cameras, Amy's real journey has been far more turbulent than what fans could ever see in a neatly edited TV episode. Arrests, heartbreak, divorce, mental health battles, and the crushing weight of public judgment threatened to destroy her. Yet, through every devastating fall, Amy has found ways to stand back up. Today, her story is one of chaos, resilience, and a comeback that almost no one saw coming. When Amy first stepped into the public eye alongside her sister Tammy, audiences were immediately drawn to her honesty. She laughed, she cried, and she didn't hold back from sharing the most vulnerable parts of her life. But with fame came pressure, and with pressure came cracks that would eventually shatter her world. The young woman who once dreamed of nothing more than starting a family found herself caught in a storm of toxic relationships, crushing expectations, and very public mistakes. The turning point for Amy began with the end of her marriage to Michael Halterman in 2022. On the surface, their relationship had been a cornerstone of her storyline. Viewers watched her fall in love, get married, and welcome to sons, Gage and Glenn. But behind closed doors, the picture wasn't as perfect. The marriage unraveled in ways that left Amy broken, overwhelmed, and uncertain about her future. Suddenly, she was a single mother, raising two young boys almost entirely on her own while fighting to keep her mental health stable. The cameras captured some of the stress, but the darkest moments happened away from TLC's lens. Divorce was only the beginning of her downfall. The stress of parenting alone, the crushing loneliness, and the constant scrutiny of fans and tabloids created a pressure cooker around her. Amy, who had always been open about her mental health struggles, was pushed to a breaking point. By 2024, her private battles spilled into public disaster. In what became one of the most shocking scandals of her life, Amy Slaton was arrested. The charges were explosive: drug possession and child endangerment. For fans who had defended her through years of online criticism, the news landed like a bombshell. Reports stated that Amy had been found with illegal substances while on what was supposed to be a wholesome family outing to a Tennessee zoo with her children. What began as a day of fun ended in flashing police lights and headlines that spread across the internet in minutes. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Some fans demanded TLC cut ties with her permanently. Others expressed heartbreak, fearing that Amy might lose custody of her children. Social media filled with judgment, anger, and disappointment. For Amy, the arrest was more than just a public humiliation. It was a moment that forced her to face the reality of how far she had fallen. But as the case moved forward, the truth became more complicated. The child endangerment charges, the most serious of the accusations, were eventually dropped. What remained was a guilty plea for simple drug possession. The court sentenced Amy to probation, fines, and mandatory counseling. It wasn't a complete ruin of her life, but it was a wake-up call. Most people expected Amy to disappear at that point, retreating into silence or sinking further into despair. But Amy surprised everyone. Instead of giving up, she began to quietly rebuild herself from the inside out. She attended therapy consistently. She focused on her children, Gage and Glenn, grounding herself in the responsibility of motherhood. She even reconnected with her sister Tammy, who had undergone her own incredible transformation after years of battling obesity and near-death experiences. For the first time in years, Amy stopped chasing fame and started chasing healing. That healing became visible to the world in early 2025. On her social media, Amy posted a simple photograph that spoke louder than any TV scene ever could. There was no glam, no makeup, no curated pose. Just Amy holding her two boys, smiling through tears. The caption read only 3 words: "They saved me." In that raw, unfiltered moment, fans saw a different woman. Not the broken figure from tabloids, not the scandal-ridden star, but a mother finding strength in her children. From there, Amy's transformation became impossible to ignore. Physically, she returned to her weight loss goals with renewed focus. After years of setbacks, emotional eating, and stalled progress, she began dropping pounds again. By mid-2025, she had lost over 150 pounds from her peak weight. Slimmer, healthier, and glowing with confidence. Amy stunned fans who hadn't seen her look that strong in years. In July 2025, she turned heads when she stepped out in a striking red dress to celebrate her one-year anniversary with her new partner, Brian Leavr. Unlike her past relationships, Brian was not part of the reality TV circus. He was quiet, supportive, and chose to live out of the spotlight. Insiders described him as the calming presence Amy had always needed, someone who built her up rather than broke her down. With Brian, Amy found not just romance, but stability. Together, they created a safe and loving home where her sons could thrive and where she could finally exhale. For the first time in years, Amy was surrounded not by chaos, but by peace. Still, Amy did not turn her back on the people who had followed her journey from the beginning. Slowly, she reconnected with her fan base, but this time on her own terms. She returned to YouTube, restarted her cameo business, and began posting regular updates. Unlike the polished reality show edits, her content was raw and honest. She talked openly about her struggles with bipolar disorder, her ongoing recovery, and the challenges of being a single mom. She wanted to use her voice not just to entertain, but to connect, to let others know they weren't alone in their battles with addiction, mental illness, or heartbreak. What stood out most was Amy's honesty. She no longer hid behind filters or scripts. She embraced her flaws and spoke candidly about the mistakes she had made. Fans responded with overwhelming support, drawn to the realness that had always made Amy unique. The same people who once feared she would lose everything now watched her rise stronger than ever. But her journey didn't stop there. Beyond her roles as mother, reality star, and influencer, Amy found a new passion that surprised many: art long before reality TV. Amy had dabbled in creative projects, from makeup tutorials to small crafts. But in the midst of her recovery, art became a lifeline. She began painting and sharing her work online, using her creativity as a way to process emotions too heavy for words. Her early pieces received mixed reactions. Some followers were confused, others amused, and a few outright critical. But Amy didn't let negativity stop her. She poured herself into her artwork, exploring new techniques, colors, and styles. For Amy, art wasn't about perfection. It was about expression, healing, and rediscovering parts of herself that had been buried under years of pain and performance. Over time, her art grew more refined, and even her critics began to acknowledge the depth of emotion in her work. This newfound hobby opened up conversations about Amy's future. Could she eventually step away from reality TV altogether and pursue art as a career? Some insiders believe so, with her growing portfolio and the attention her pieces are receiving online. Amy may have found an unexpected path forward, one that doesn't rely on drama or scandal to keep her in the public eye. Meanwhile, rumors swirl about whether One Susu Seasons will return for an 8th season. Fans wonder if Amy will once again appear on the show that made her famous. Some believe she is hesitant, weary of the chaos and judgment that come with reality TV. Others think she might use the platform as an opportunity to share her comeback story on her own terms, whether she chooses to return or step away. One thing is certain: Amy Slaton is no longer defined by her past mistakes or by the weight of her body. She is carving out a new identity, one that is rooted in strength, resilience, and authenticity. Looking back, Amy's story is one of extremes. She has been to the lowest points, rested, humiliated, and crushed under the weight of her own mistakes. She has faced public scorn, private despair, and moments where giving up might have seemed easier than pushing forward. But she didn't give up. Inch by inch, she climbed back. Through therapy, motherhood, love, and creativity, Amy has built a new foundation for herself. The woman who once sobbed on camera, overwhelmed by motherhood and heartbreak, is now rising from the ashes. She is no longer just a reality star whose life plays out for entertainment. She is a fighter, a survivor, and a mother who has refused to let her worst moments define her. Her story is raw, messy, and painful, but it is also deeply human. And that's why people continue to root for her. Today, Amy Slaton stands taller than she ever has, with her sons by her side, a supportive partner in her corner, and a passion for creativity fueling her spirit. She is ready for whatever comes next. Whether that future involves more seasons of 1000 Delby Sisters or a quiet life dedicated to family and art. One thing is undeniable. Amy has transformed her chaos into strength. Her comeback isn't just inspiring. It's a reminder that redemption is always possible, no matter how far someone has fallen. Amy Slaton has been to the edge of collapse, but she didn't fall. She clawed her way back. And today she stands as proof that survival is not just about living through penance, about finding a way to rise above it.
He didn't like the ideal Amanda had because she doesn't want to be held accountable.
She does not have the mentality that you got to take the...
My Slatton has been many things in the public eye. A reality TV star, a mother, a sister, and at times a lightning rod for controversy. But in the middle of the chaos, something unexpected has taken root. New passions slowly reshaping her identity. Fans once knew Amy mainly from 1002 LB Sisters, where her weight struggles, family drama, and relationships unfolded on screen. What they didn't expect was to see her evolve into an artist, using creativity as both an escape and a lifeline. It all began quietly in March, when Amy posted an Instagram photo that caught fans off guard, a small dinosaur head statue she had crafted by hand. Her caption was simple but proud. "Yes, I did that." That tiny declaration carried more weight than the sculpture itself. It wasn't just a craft project. It was a statement of ownership and rediscovery. As always with Amy, reactions were mixed. Supporters praised her creativity and encouraged her to keep going. Critics were quick to mock, asking, "What are my eyeballs seeing? And is this the boy's artwork?" In the past, comments like these would have crushed Amy. But this time, she didn't let the negativity win. Instead, she leaned in, posting more pieces and gradually winning over new fans who admired her effort and vulnerability. Her next big step was an Instagram art dump, borrowing the term from online art communities. She posted a dozen creations at once: resin crafts, painted figures, and more, explaining the concept to her followers. The post showed not only her growing portfolio, but also her willingness to step into a new world with humility. For a woman defined for years by reality TV, these posts revealed a side fans had rarely seen. Soon, questions rolled in. Would she ever consider selling her work? To many people's surprise, Amy admitted she was thinking about it. For someone long ridiculed by the public, realizing that others wanted to buy her creations was validating. Suddenly, art wasn't just therapy, it could become a business. Amy's creative breakthrough couldn't have come at a better time. She has been open about her struggles with depression and loneliness, challenges made worse after her divorce from Michael Halterman. With 2 young sons to raise and constant public judgment, Amy was stretched thin. But art gave her an outlet, a way to channel feelings too heavy to express otherwise. One of her most meaningful projects was a resin gift for her cousin, Tammy Slaton. The Slatton family is close, even when they clash, and news of Katie's stage 4 cancer devastated them all. Amy poured love into the resin piece, a way of offering comfort when words weren't enough. For her, it was proof that art could heal not just herself, but others too. She kept sharing glimpses of her works in progress, like one image of delicate pink feathers. The comments filled again with purchase requests. Amy responded, "This one's for my friend, but I'm thinking of opening a shop because a lot of people have been requesting to buy too." The idea of selling her work started to feel real. But Amy's personal life was still turbulent. Just months earlier, in September 2024, she had one of the strangest experiences of her life at Tennessee Safari Park. A camel bit her. And when police responded, they found marijuana in her car. Amy and her boyfriend, Brian Lavorne, were arrested for drug possession and child endangerment. Terrified of prison and losing her children, she pleaded guilty to simple possession. The judge sentenced her to probation, sparing her jail time, but leaving her shaken. Despite that scare, brighter moments followed. In May 2025, Brian proposed to Amy inside a haunted house. The unconventional setting fit her personality perfectly, and she said yes. Around the same time, she regained custody of her sons, Gage and Glenn, reuniting her family after months of uncertainty. With her boys back home and a new passion fueling her, Amy finally felt hopeful. That summer, she announced her first art sale. On Instagram, she posted a photo grinning beside her buyer, proudly holding up a crisp $20 bill. Her caption read, "So thankful for Katie buying some of my art. My first sale, and hopefully more to come soon." The amount didn't matter. What's the validation? For Amy, the sale represented dignity, confidence, and possibility. She told fans she was working on a website to sell more. With that, she officially crossed into the world of professional artists. Her Instagram began filling with photos of her at work, resin, pouring, painting, experimenting with colors and textures. The posts showed a woman transformed. Once defined by scandal and heartbreak, Amy was now carving out an identity as a creator. Fans began to ask if she might eventually leave 1000 LB Sisters to focus on art. While her budding career looked promising, her ongoing personal drama still played a central role in the show, making her departure unlikely for now. Meanwhile, her sister Amanda Halterman brought her own share of headlines. Outspoken and fiery, Amanda had become a breakout star of the later seasons. She had once moved to Florida for a fresh start, but returned home after the relationship failed. Now, she was living under Amy's roof with her children, creating new tensions. Fans also expressed concern over Amanda's new boyfriend, Leonard Moore, suspecting he might be exerting too much control. The Slaton family's drama has always been messy and magnetic. The show, which began with Amy and Tammy's weight loss journeys, has expanded to spotlight Amanda, Chris, and Misty, each with their own challenges. But through all of it, Amy's transformation has stood out. Living with her fiery sister, raising two boys, managing a complicated relationship, and navigating public scrutiny would overwhelm most people. But Amy has found an anchor in her art. Every finished piece is more than a craft. It's proof she can create beauty in the middle of chaos. Today, Amy's future feels uncertain but promising. Will she prioritize her art over reality TV? Will she continue exposing her life on camera or retreat to a quieter path? No one can say for sure. What is clear is that she has found something worth holding on to. The woman once mocked for her weight, her choices, and her chaos is now building a new identity. An artist, a mother, and a survivor. Her story is still messy, still unpredictable, but undeniably human. And as long as Amy keeps creating, whether through resin, paint, or life itself, her fans will be there, watching her evolve and cheering her on. Amy Slaton has been leaning into something new, something far different from the chaos of her reality TV life. It all began back in March, when she shared a simple Instagram photo, a small dinosaur head statue she had crafted with her own hands. "Yes, I did that," she wrote proudly, showing off the quirky little piece of art. Some followers weren't impressed, and the comments section lit up with criticism. "What are my eyeballs seeing?" one person joked. Another asked, "Is this the boys' artwork?" But Amy didn't let the negativity get to her. Instead, she pushed forward, finding joy in creating. That one little dinosaur head was the spark that ignited a new passion. She followed it up with what she called her art dump, a massive post where she shared more than a dozen of her handmade pieces with her fans. In the caption, Amy explained the meaning of an art dump: simply putting out a large collection of creative work at once. It wasn't polished or perfectly presented, but it was hers, for someone who had spent so much of her life being judged by family, by strangers online, and even by TV producers. This new outlet was something different. It wasn't about her weight, her parenting, or her personal drama. It was about creating something with her hands and sharing it with the world. And for Amy, it came at the right time. Over the years, she's battled her mental health, struggling under the pressure of fame and constant judgment. But making art gave her peace. For the first time in years, she seemed genuinely happy, despite everything swirling around her personal life. Fans noticed, too. Some began encouraging her to sell her work, asking in the comments where they could buy pieces. Amy replied that she was thinking about opening a shop because, as she put it, a lot of people been requesting to buy, too. Suddenly, a side hobby was starting to look like a brand new career path. It wasn't just about money, it was about healing. One of the most touching examples came when Amy revealed that she had crafted a special resin art piece for her cousin, Tammy Slaton. Katie was fighting stage 4 cancer, and the news had shaken the entire Slaton family. They might bicker and push each other's buttons on screen, but off camera, they are a close-knit family. Amy's gift to Katie wasn't just a piece of art, was love poured into resin, color, and creativity. That moment showed just how deeply this new hobby had already become part of Amy's identity. Soon, Amy was sharing more works in progress, like a beautiful pink feather design that caught fans' eyes. Again, the comments filled with people asking how they could buy it. And again, Amy hinted at opening a store. She wasn't rushing things, her focus was still her family, but the seed had been planted. Of course, Amy's life is never without drama. Just as her art career was beginning to blossom, she faced one of her darkest chapters. In September 2024, she and her boyfriend, Brian Laverne, were involved in a shocking incident at the Tennessee Safari Park. During the visit, Amy was bitten by a camel, a bizarre, frightening moment that quickly spiraled into something much bigger. When police responded, they discovered marijuana in the car. Both Amy and Brian were arrested, charged with drug possession and child endangerment. For Amy, who had already been fighting to rebuild her life after her divorce, the arrest was terrifying. She was afraid she'd lose everything, including custody of her sons, Gage and Glenn. The case could have ended badly, but the judge was surprisingly lenient. Amy pleaded guilty to simple possession and was sentenced to probation. It wasn't the clean slate she had hoped for, but it was a second chance. During that time, she leaned harder into her art, finding comfort in painting and resin work while navigating the court system and public scrutiny. By May 2025, her life took another unexpected turn. Brian, the same man she had been arrested with, proposed to her during a haunted house date. It wasn't your typical romantic candlelit dinner proposal instead. It was dramatic, spooky, and very on brand for Amy, who loves the weird and unusual. She said yes, and just like that, her story shifted again. That same year, Amy achieved something even more important. She regained custody of her sons. After months of fear and uncertainty, she finally had her boys, Gage and Glenn, back in her home. The relief on her face was clear in every photo she posted. Being a mom has always been central to Amy's identity, and regaining her children gave her new strength. Combined with her love of art, it was the stability she desperately needed. Not long after, Amy proudly shared another milestone with her fans: her first art sale. She posted a photo of herself holding a crisp $20 bill, smiling from ear to ear. The buyer, her cousin Katie, once again showing her love and support. "So thankful for Katie buying some of my art for me, my first sale, and hopefully more to come soon," Amy captioned the post. It may not have been a huge financial windfall, but to Amy, it meant everything. That $20 was more than just money, it was validation. It proved that people valued her creativity. From there, her confidence soared. More fans began asking to buy her pieces, and Amy revealed that she was working on setting up a website to sell them. The idea of Amy Slaton, professional artist, was no longer a dream. It was happening. Her Instagram filled with photos of works in progress, resin molds, and paintings. And while some followers still mocked her, far more praised her courage for putting herself out there. But Amy's journey is never just about Amy. It's about her family to end in season 7 of 1,000 Pound. Sisters, the spotlight has been shining brighter on her sister Amanda Halterman. Amanda, often called the breakout star of the series, has a fiery personality that matches her siblings, but a life path that has been uniquely her own. Originally, Amanda left Kentucky for a fresh start in Florida. She was chasing sunshine, love, and a new chapter. But it didn't go as planned. When her relationship failed, she returned to Kentucky, moving back in with Amy and her 2 young boys. Amanda didn't come alone. Several of her sons also moved into Amy's house. It's created tension, as anyone can imagine, with multiple families under one roof. Still, Amanda's larger-than-life personality made her one of the most watchable members of the family on TV. Her quick wit, sharp tongue, and fearless honesty turned her into a fan favorite. But behind the scenes, Amanda has faced her own struggles, particularly in her relationships. Recently, fans have grown concerned about Amanda's Instagram activity, especially regarding her new boyfriend, Leonard Moore. Some believe Leonard may be controlling her, raising questions about how much influence he has over Amanda's decisions. With Amanda being such a strong, independent voice on the show, seeing hints of a potentially toxic relationship has made viewers uneasy. The show, which premiered back in 2020, has grown far beyond its original concept. At first, it was about Tammy and Amy's weight loss journeys, their health struggles, and their daily lives. But over the seasons, it's expanded to include siblings like Chris Combs, Misty Slatton, Wentworth, and Amanda Halterman. Each of them has brought something unique to the series, creating a family portrait that's messy, dramatic, and often heartbreaking. Season 7 has been especially revealing. Amanda's return to Kentucky has shaken things up in ways fans didn't expect. She's found herself not just helping Amy with her boys, but also navigating her own romantic drama. Viewers are watching closely, wondering if Amanda's relationship with Leonard will restore, if it will become yet another cautionary tale in the Slaton family saga. Through it all, Amy continues to balance her reality TV fame, her new role as an artist, and her responsibilities as a mom. She's no stranger to chaos, whether it's animal bites, courtroom drama, or family feuds. But this new chapter of creativity has given her something she's never had before: control. For once, she's the one shaping the narrative, crafting her story piece by piece, just like the art she makes. As for Amanda, she remains unpredictable, bold, and impossible to ignore. Whether she's clashing with siblings, making fans laugh, or sparking concern about her personal life, Amanda has cemented her role as one of the show's brightest and most complicated stars. Together, the sisters' stories show the 2 sides of life in the spotlight: resilience and vulnerability. For Amy, it's about healing through creativity. For Amanda, it's about navigating love and independence. And for viewers, it's about watching a family that's messy, real, and constantly evolving.